Welcome. It's the second week of February 2021, and this is the inaugural episode of the Former Athletes Podcast. Yes, I said inaugural episode, meaning episode number 1, meaning this is our first time doing a podcast together. I'm sure y'all are wondering what the fuck we're going to talk about on this podcast. I'm here to let you guys know. I'm not really sure either. We're just 4 friends who talk sports together and we like funny shit. So why not start a podcast? We used to be athletes. Some people might say legendary athletes. Okay? The problem is now we are washed up, but who cares? You know, an old wise man once told me, those who don't play podcast.
Who said that, bro?
An old wise man. Let me get back to the intro. So here we are, 4 legends who like sports, who like funny shit, and who like funny shit that happen in sports. So hopefully you'll laugh a little bit. You'll probably laugh at us a lot, but at least you're fucking laughing. All right. So let's go around the room, introduce you to everybody. To the right, on the top, is our lead soccer analyst. And by lead soccer analyst, I mean only soccer analyst, Jordan Durner. Say what's up, Durner.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Former Athletes. Happy to be here. And that's all I got, man.
All right, to my bottom left is the group sneakerhead, and who, for the sake of the podcast, watches sports every once in a while, Nick Walls. What's up, Nick?
What's up, everybody? Happy to be here, Former Athletes Podcast, and that's all I got.
And to the bottom right, the man, the myth, the legend, and the one who will sometimes be a picture of a dog, Jonathan Sapp. What's up, Jonathan?
Well, not much. I feel like everything's already been said, so welcome to Former Athletes. I hope we don't embarrass ourselves too much.
We'll explain the dog joke one day, but you know what? Let's just get into the show. All right, on today's episode, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Tom Brady went in and laid the smackdown on Kansas City. I bet you everybody's wondering, is Pat Mahomes washed up? We will talk about it. Okay. We'll also talk a little NBA. You know, they yanked KD out in the middle of the game, and they didn't take anybody else out of the game. Does the NBA even care about player safety?
We don't know.
Who knows? But we'll talk about it. All right. And we're also getting close to the All-Star weekend, and it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. Will the All-Star game suck per usual?
Per usual. Strong words, bro.
Yeah.
We're here to. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Okay. And we might wrap up the episode on how mad I am that U.S. players go across the pond to play footy. Aren't we mad? Aren't we mad? No. You know what? We'll talk about it if we have time. We'll talk about it. Now we've gone over the rundown. It's got me super pumped to get into this inaugural episode. And you know what? I've been racking my brain on this stuff, and all I can think is this might be the best episode yet. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. It's inaugural, you know? It's the first one.
All right, let's get it rolling then. Tom Brady, Tom the King, Tommy Sevens went in. Actually didn't really go anywhere. He fucking played in Tampa, but he went to the Super Bowl and he Tom Brady'd the shit out of Pat Mahomes. For 20 fucking years, I've been a fan of the Baltimore Ravens. I'll get that out of the way real quick. I will talk about the Ravens a lot on this podcast. And I've been a fan of the Ravens for 20 years. I've sat in the AFC and watched Tom Brady saw down Joe Flacco, saw down the Ravens, saw down Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers. He's been sawing down Phillip Rivers and the Chargers, sawing down Peyton Manning at that. And he just continues on sawing down Pat Mahomes. And Pat Mahomes looked fucking mortal on Sunday. 31-9. What are we thinking about it, boys? Nick, go ahead.
Look, it's not... Patrick Mahomes did not look mortal for once. I think Patty Mahomes just proved how freaking good he is because the Chiefs looked like shit, bro. And I'm gonna go ahead and push back right off rip, bro. Yeah, Tom Brady, I think at this point, I don't think anybody was arguing it ahead of time, but they're definitely not arguing now. Like, this man is the GOAT. But the defense of the Buccaneers and the lack of offense, specifically lack of offensive line for Patty Mahomes, that's what did it to him, bro. I think, you know, all signs were pointing towards shootout, hella points, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Patrick Mahomes is like his first game without a touchdown ever, some shit like that. It's crazy, but you seen my man, even though he was getting pressured off rip, throwing like straight horizontal. Yeah. Making crazy throws behind the back.
Dimes.
And hitting people right in the face, bro. Hitting them right in the face. Doof! Like, his receivers weren't even anticipating the throw coming. So, like, I don't know, man. I don't want to hear it about Patrick Mahomes being mortal. You know what I mean? My man is still crazy. I've seen a bunch of audio clips, people calling my man a magician, and I think that's what we need to continue to call him. He is a magician, bro, making crazy throws people just couldn't catch, man. But
I just want people to keep that same energy next year when Lamar Jackson loses some offensive linemen and everybody's like, oh, no, Lamar Jackson should still be shutting people down. He should still be winning games. Oh, all right, y'all are throwing every excuse for Patty Mahomes, but no excuses for Lamar.
Okay, well, I'm not throwing... I mean, maybe it is an excuse, but this is just facts, bro. And, you know, I'm going to keep it real, as is the group in here. So if that happens to Lamar, we're going to call it how it is, because it did happen this year because we lost...
Ronnie Stanley.
Ronnie Stanley. For some reason, I thought that was not my man's name, but we lost Ronnie Stanley, and it definitely affects things. Patrick Mahomes lost both tackles, and he had like a jacked up foot. So all things considered, between those two things and the fact that nobody could catch a football, I don't know, man. But congratulations to the Bucs, Bruce Arian, and the coaching staff, Tom Brady, and the rest of the players. You know, they got the dub, they got the ring, and, you know, hats off to them. I don't know how you boys feel about it, though.
I mean, Tom Brady the shit out of Pat Mahomes. Yeah, it's just what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think going into the game, I think people thought the Chiefs were going to make the upset. But at the same time, anytime you put Tom Brady on a team, obviously he came to the Bucs, but then he showed what Tom Brady can do. With
Chiefs were favored, bro. Definitely.
Yeah, I was about to say, you saying the Chiefs were the underdog?
Nah, they were the favorite.
Yeah, sure, they were the favorite, but that's what I'm saying though. You put Tom Brady on any team, and he's going to show out no matter what. You give him 2 or 3 targets, that's all he needs, right? Mike Evans, Gronk. I mean, there's they call them bad boys. Have you guys seen that meme?
Oh yeah, because it's because of like Instagram posts or something that they did, a social media thing. They did it back in like 2018 or 2019 when they made the Super Bowl, and then they repeated the same one. It's got the bad boy for life in the background.
I thought he was saying Mike Evans and Gronk are the bad boys, and when he said those, no. I thought you were gonna say, and those are the only players that I know on the team.
Nah, hey, can we talk about though? Can we talk about how the Tom Brady recruitment team won the Super Bowl? Gronk, not on the Bucs last year, 2 tuds on Sunday. Antonio Brown, not on the team last year. Tom Brady, hey, Antonio, come on, let's play some football. Tud in the Super Bowl. Yeah, Lenny Fournette, playoff Lenny Fournette getting a little rushing touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
He really
I'm glad Fournette actually got to show out because he's had a rough spell since he kind of entered the league. He went to the Jags. Didn't fare well with them, and then where's the second team he went to? The Cardinals.
The Bucs.
He just went from the Jags to the Bucs.
We got cut. He got cut though. Yeah. Tom Brady just brought back everyone. Like, hey, like, are you decent? And like, are you currently not playing? All right, come join me. Like, he grabbed like 3 random people who were like, nah, they're not good anymore. They're washed.
Somebody call Tom Brady and tell him we are former athletes. We can get a Super Bowl ring too. Let's go.
He could make us look really good.
There's a chance.
You know, you got a kicker.
And I'm actually from Tampa, right? So like I was, you know, I didn't know how to feel about Tom Brady coming to the Bucs because I was like, okay, like, you know, Bucs didn't do a whole lot previously. You know, I've kind of just like hated Tom Brady because he's like the winner, and you got to hate the big people. But he came to the Bucs, I was really conflicted. But to see him pull it out, it's just like, okay, I feel like this really does end the GOAT discussion. Like, if you want to talk about the path that he took in order to win this Super Bowl, it's insane. I
Hey,
will say,
John.
go for it.
Jonathan, I got a question for you. You lived in Tampa, right? So
Right.
from like, I think Tampa Bay was in the Super Bowl back when John Gruden and Brad Johnson and were there 2002. You were like way too young. So like you've basically lived through the suck fest that is the
Yes.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like, do people like the Bucks in Tampa before this year? Was that a thing? Were the Bucks a thing?
Uh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I go to a couple games, and people would be there, right? Like, but I feel like when you have two other sports franchises that are doing a lot better, and the Lightning and the Rays, it's the Bucks were not on everyone's top list. They were at the bottom, but now with with them winning and all this stuff, like they're back on the top. The Rays at the bottom because they lost. So I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think
people are
everybody
hyped.
thinking, yeah, people are hyped. I mean, I think going when Brady was talking about going to the Bucks, people were like, all right, well, he's going to do a 2-year stint there and then call it a career. Honestly, that's why I thought. I thought he was going to be like, all right, I'm going to go to the Bucks. I'm going to be on the beach, kicking it, hanging out, and but nah, dude, dude put up MVP numbers.
Well, he ain't put up MVP numbers. Let's take it
Uh,
easy. He did like throw a lot of picks this year in his first, which is pretty.
fair,
That's average for like Bruce Arians' offense. They say the first year in the
right?
offense, you're going to throw the most picks of your career, and I think Tom Brady did. So let's not throw him off the hook for the regular season. But like, yeah, he balled out. I mean, he Tom Brady'd in the Super Bowl. That's just like what happened.
Yeah.
Tom Brady did what Tom Brady does.
If you want to use another name as an adjective or verb, sorry, my English is shit, but you could also say he LeBron James in the playoffs.
Oh, I like that even better. I like that even. Ooh, we got a little cringe to the bottom, but I like that better.
You know what I'm
Ooh.
saying? Because Jonathan, to your point, you said, "Oh, I'm kind of conflicted. Tom Brady comes to my team." It's the same thing that LeBron
that's
does,
fair.
bro. He pulls up and he instantly makes your team a contender. I'm gonna be honest. I stole that take from Nick Wright, but I agree 100%.
Hey, we'll cut that out. It don't matter. That's our take.
Leave it
I
in.
like it.
Leave it in.
It's going to
You know,
lawsuit.
as the fact that we share the same first name, I am entitled to borrow opinions from time to time. But
Okay.
it's the exact same thing, bro. They say. I mean, honestly, Tom Brady and LeBron. Sorry, you guys already know I'm gonna have to pull LeBron in as often as possible because I love that man. But bro, same thing. People say that they're washed. LeBron, he's going to Hollywood to make movies. Tom Brady, he's going to the beach to relax and play golf. No, we out here getting dubs and getting more championships and just dragging along whoever it is, bro. The one thing that is like super apparent, maybe not super apparent, but you can say it with Brady the same way that you could say with LeBron before, but now Brady kind of proved it. He leaves the franchise, the Patriots, kind of shambles, and the Bucks are instant winners. Same
Easily,
thing
yeah.
my dog LeBron does.
And
So, I just want to float that out there while I see
I
the
agree.
opportunity.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Now, well, the Pats had Cam Newton, and they were trash.
All right, so I'm conflicted on this argument though. I'm very conflicted because LeBron usually goes to teams that are hot garbage. The Bucks did have like a top defense
They
to
were
end the year last year. Like the last 8 weeks of the season, they might have been the number one defense in the NFL. He also had two stud receivers like there already to where like he kind of picked that team. He said, "Oh, they got a little cap space. They got a lot of weapons. They got a good defense. They got a good coach. They just got no quarterback. Let me come in and save the day." To where LeBron's like, you know what? Which one of 32 teams should I go to and bless their city with a championship this year? A little bit different.
Without getting too far off topic from, Super Bowl and stuff like that, I know I introduced the topic, but I'll try to reel it in real quick. You could say the same thing about when Brown went to Cleveland. Like, yeah, that's his home team, and he wanted to get a championship for Cleveland, and I respect that. But would he have gone back that year? What was it, like 2013? If Kyrie wasn't there and like balling, if Kevin Love wasn't available, you could kind of make the same argument. So
That's true.
I'm not going to hold that against Brady. You know what I mean? You got to get in where you fit in. And my man saw an opportunity, went there. Just like with the Lakers, whether LeBron thought that they were winners right then and now, or he thought, hey, they got some good young players, and my dog Anthony Davis might be available. You know what I'm saying? Like, things kind of get orchestrated the same way that you were talking about earlier. Brady said, okay, come on, Gronk. Come on, AB. Like, we're going to go get this championship right now. And it worked out for him.
Yeah, I think.
Dude,
I think the issue was that, like, before Tom Brady was there, we had a Jameis Winston going 30 for 30, So I feel like the team was
And we're
really
not talking
good.
ESPN documents.
Exactly. There's going to be a 30 for 30 on the 30 for 30. I feel like they had pieces, but a lot of this, because they were losing and just like, it's like, okay, like we don't, we don't care about them anymore, right? They're not in the playoffs. They're not going anywhere. Like, it's fine. So I feel like as soon as you took out Jameis and just placed in Tom Brady, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Like, they had a really good team. Whoa, what's the? I mean, like, I feel like he brought in some people and took them like over the top, obviously because they won. But I feel like they were kind of getting slept on just because there was a huge issue in this 30 for 30. But like, they didn't pick up that much in the time it took them to drop off Jameis and get Tom Brady. So I mean,
Jameis was also number 2 in the NFL last year in passing touchdowns. I don't want that to be forgotten. But I will say who was number 1, Lamar Jackson. But I digress. Let's go back to the Super Bowl. Hey, let's go. But before we forget about it, like, everybody watched the game, right? Like, we are a podcast. Yeah. Everybody, like, all right, cool. Commercials. What do we think? What do we think about commercials?
Oh, well, you see, I was thinking to myself as I was watching. I didn't know how we was going to do it here for the podcast. But I'm going to take your question and flip it a little bit.
Let's go.
Where do you guys rank Super Bowl, halftime performance, commercials? Like, give me the tier list. What was the most viewing pleasure to the least viewing pleasure?
Well, with that being said, I just need to remind everybody about halftime of the Super Bowl. Beginning of the Super Bowl, I was pretty smacked. So take that into consideration. take that into consideration with my judgment. Yeah, I think the game stunk. I think it was a bad game. I think the commercials. Oh man, and I thought Brady versus Mahomes might have been one of the best Super Bowls ever, and it just stunk in my opinion. So I was more intrigued by the commercials, even though there was definitely some like dud commercials. There was some that were pretty funny, and I thought at the time, like, the halftime show was good, but like I'm also like y'all could sway that opinion because, like I said, I was smacked, so anything probably seemed good at that point.
Bruh. Hey, I think it was really good too, and I seen a lot of mixed reviews on it, so I'm interested to see what Jonathan and Durner say because I watched it, I was like, damn, like that shit was cool. Like, I thought it was a good performance. Of course, like all the songs were good, but I seen a bunch of people talking shit on it, so I don't know. Like, what do you boys think?
Well, I think as far as ranking everything, right?
Oh, yeah. Do that.
I'll answer your question, though. I think as far as ranking everything, I'd say the game was, like, in the middle just because Patrick it was a blowout, but I did enjoy watching Patrick Mahomes just do insane stuff, right? Hitting all these dudes in the face. Like, I remember, like, I was drinking myself, too, and just, like, seeing him was like, whoa, holy crap, like he just went horizontal, and that's insane. You don't see that every day. So I feel like that part was really, really entertaining. Everything else was just like, okay, this is not a game. I feel like the commercials, I think they take the cake, and that's only because I've heard, just like you, I heard there's a lot of flack for the performance. I think the performance is really good, but apparently, The Weeknd ended up having like this big overarching message in this. Like, I don't know if you guys like had noticed that, like, he had gotten it looked like he had gotten surgery and everything. But he was like just in time for like the performance. Apparently he never got surgery, and the whole point was to show off like it was like this like overarching theme of like what stars will do for all this fame, and like tied in apparently like with all of his different songs. Like he like where he was like standing, he's like there's like a shot of him like on top of the world, right? And it's like, holy crap, like he really thought this through. But like I think to your point, like I was also drinking, I was like this all went over my head. So I feel like if I watch it a second time, it might look a whole lot better, and I might get the symbolism. But until then, I feel like commercials take the cake. The one thing I'll add though, I'm really sad that the State Farm commercials were there, because it was like, dang, like that's what the Super Bowl could have been. It could have been the battle of State Farm agents, but then it was just Tom Brady just taking the Rodgers spot, and so
damn it, Tom Brady.
Yeah,
what an asshole.
Durner, what's good? Give us your take.
So I watched maybe a little bit of the third quarter and the rest of the fourth quarter.
You said what?
I'm gonna
well said.
He's like, I'm actually still drunk, boys.
It's been a long weekend.
It was long. I'm gonna have to rank. I did rewatch the halftime shows, concerts, and stuff like that. I would say that's gonna be number one. Number two is gonna be probably the commercials. I watched a few, and then the game. I tuned in like halfway, not even halfway.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I came in when the Bucks were up 28-6, I think it was. So it was kind of like,
already concluded.
I and at that point I was like, you know what? And once it got into the fourth quarter, it was kind of like, I don't think Brady. I don't think Mahomes is going to actually make a good comeback.
Right.
Obviously, he was hurt. And just by the way, like I think I saw maybe 2 runs where like he was just scrambling. Just I think he ran for over 500, close to 500 yards, just scrambling. I think.
Yeah.
That was a crazy stat that they said. Like from him scrambling, he ran close to 500 yards.
He like set a record for most yards, ran from snap to like throwing the ball or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
look, with that being said, though, somebody should remind Durner that we do a sports podcast. So like the Super Bowl is probably pretty vital to watch. You know what I'm saying? But
he went back and rewatched the halftime show. Get off his back.
The most important part. I get it. Hey, but can we look to wrap this whole Super Bowl talk up? I just want to talk about my new favorite State Farm character. It's no longer Jake from State Farm. It is now Drake from State Farm.
Oh shit! I forgot that happened.
That was man. Yeah, that was pretty. That was probably my favorite commercial, to be honest.
Dude, yeah, that shit was funny.
All right,
No, now the last thing. Sorry, I'm going to have the last word on this one.
Go ahead.
Not actually going to be me. Last question. Is Gronk the GOAT tight end? I'm just going to float that out there.
Oh, yeah.
As I'm watching the game, I knew everybody was going to be... I'm surprised everybody agreed so easily. Just put the fuck on. But yeah, everybody talks about Tom Brady being the GOAT for, football and quarterbacks. But dude, Gronk might literally be like the best tight end.
Yeah,
if everybody agrees,
easily.
It's just law now.
Came back
from
retirement.
You're welcome, rest of the world. Yeah. And like in the end zone afterwards.
Hey, let's go ahead. Let's give a quick round of applause for the NFL making it through the 2020 NFL season. Let's go, boys. I'm happy for you. I am happy. With that being said, the NFL made it through 2020. Will the NBA make it through 2020? They came in. Whatever, you get it. They came in, they pulled out KD in the middle of the game. They said, "Screw everybody else." All right, no. Hey, we were passing basketballs back and forth in the middle, or during pregame and whatnot. We're shooting. We're probably dapping up. You know what I mean? Shit, I might even give you a little bro hug or whatever. Like
on the lips.
Yeah, what are we doing? LeBron's probably sharing his hand power with motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? And how do we feel about that whole situation and just the NBA COVID protocols? And will they make it through the damn season? I doubt it. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I sure hope they do. I feel like it just didn't make a lot of sense that the test came back inconclusive. And he started to play. And as soon as it came back positive, they're like, oh no, let's pull him out. But it's like at that point, like, wait, why are we still playing this game? Like, if COVID's the number one priority here, and like everyone's safety is the number one priority, like, these two teams went on to go play multiple games, like, for the, like the next 2 or 3 days, like, they were on the road playing games. So it's like, I don't understand why, like, if this is the concern, it's like, oh man, KD, get out of here. Also, you two teams, you play, and then go play some more games after that. It's like, this is really weird.
I mean, I don't understand it either, but hey, they got to do what they got to do because player safety is not number one. I mean, this is the same with NFL, MLB. It's the money is number one. Like, let's not forget.
Right,
let's not forget the paper.
$100.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the paper.
Hey, the shit is crazy though because they're talking about contact tracing. And kind of like exactly what Jonathan was saying, if you're going to take one guy out of the game after the game has already started, okay, well, I've been in contact with all these cats now.
Yeah.
Right.
So you either got to suspend the game, or just let this man ball. And didn't the Nets lose that game? Yes, no? Yeah. I can't even remember at this point.
I don't even remember.
They lose the game,
They've been
and
losing a lot.
in a grand scheme of things, will it matter? Probably not. But it is a weird precedent to set where it's like, we're going to take things this seriously, or seriously enough, that we're going to have all these COVID protocols as they should. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes sense. You don't want the whole NBA to be infected. Then you really don't got a season. You're not going to make any money because nobody can play, right?
Right.
But if you're going to let this man step on the court, like, it does seem strange that they're just going to pull him. I guess the thought process is, like, even if he was around somebody that had COVID and he contracted COVID, you could be around somebody and not spread it. But I guess the longer you're around somebody, the higher the chance is. I'm no scientist, but that's what makes sense to me. So it's like, okay, let's just go ahead and pull him out to be safe. But if that's the thought, like, oh, let's just do this to be safe, then yeah, just suspend the whole game. Just suspend the whole game to be safe.
Also, I think it also determines, like, get a little technical, but when did you get that test, and when did, you know what I mean? Because that has like a significant effect on when it comes back, right? So, I mean, if he gets it first thing in the morning, and it takes 6 hours, by the time the game's not until later in the afternoon, right? I'm assuming. So he has enough time to be like, okay, you know what? I tested positive. I'm out for the night. Whereas, like, if it's like 3 hours before game time and they swab him and this happens, like, he's coming in contact with multiple people. You know what I mean? Like, the whole team, the whole other team. And by this time, like you said, like, I think they need to either let him play or suspend the game. There's no.
Yeah, the game should have been suspended. Like, the game should have been suspended.
Like,
I mean, at least it might.
Yeah, at that point you can tell it's all about the money, because it's like, oh, just you, you get out. Everyone else, you play, even though you've been playing with the guy who's sick. It just raises so many questions.
I mean, and not to go back on the NFL, but like the same stuff happened in the NFL. Like, the Ravens played the Cowboys on Thursday night, literally, like, Des Bryant warming up on the field, and all of a sudden they yank him off. They yank him off the field and like, oh, you got an inconclusive test. And then, like, during the pregame show, they're like showing video of, like, because Des Bryant used to play for the Cowboys. He's dapping up old teammates. He's dapping up, obviously, the Ravens players. He's catching balls and tossing them to somebody. Same thing. Like, there was a game earlier in the year. I think it was the Chiefs against the Patriots, and they showed, like, Stephon Gilmore, like, going around, like, at the end of the game on, I think it was like a Monday night or a Tuesday night. He's going around, like, talking to everybody, no mask on and shit. Next thing you know, it's like next day, oh yeah, Stephon Gilmore tested positive for COVID, and like they just acted like, all right, Gilmore's out, like, that's it. We're not going to pay no mind to the video that we saw yesterday of him hugging Pat Mahomes. We're not going to pay no mind to him, like, locking down Tyreek Hill the whole game. We're just going to say, hey, he got it. Like, let's see what happens from here. I think that's where they go with, like, the testing, though, to where it's like, all right, like, people keep testing positive, so that's, like, how it's spreading. I'm guessing they're doing the same thing in the NBA until they, like, stop the spread. That's when they say, when the spread is stopped, that's when they say, all right, go ahead, like, play basketball. I don't know if it's going to work, but in reality, I don't know what the right answer is. I just think there's, like, a happy medium between, like, they're trying their best to find the happy medium between let's make some money and let's not get people hurt. And it's very obvious that they're not, like, leaning on it's important to make sure that players don't get sick. Like, that's not their top priority, but they're doing their best to, like, find that happy medium, I guess.
Only in America will a healthcare worker dealing with COVID do the coin flip for a super spreader event. Like, it's like, welcome to the Super Bowl. Welcome to the Super Bowl. This person has been dealing with, COVID patients. She's seen all the bad stuff. All right, now everybody gather around and watch the coin flip. Everybody in your seats, all hug your buddies. It's like, okay, like this.
Let me ask you this, though, because the word on the street was that, like, a bunch of those healthcare workers were, like, vaccinated people, and myself, being a one-time COVID survivor, thank you, no big deal. But we'll talk about that later. Anyway, like, I'm no expert on, like, the vaccination or anything, but, like, does that have anything to do with maybe more safe? I'm guessing it's more safe, right?
If people are, if everyone there is vaccinated, then it's a different story. But I don't think everybody was. I don't think everybody there was vaccinated. I think it was only a subsection. So to that point, it's like, okay, like, how are you gonna do this? Are you gonna sprinkle in, like, you're vaccinated, you're not vaccinated. All right, now vaccinated. It's like, no, like, this isn't realistic. Like, everyone's going to come in contact with one another. And so it's just like.
Let's make the assumption though that the NFL is smart enough to the lady they put on the coin toss, like she's vaccinated. I would hope. Yes.
Like,
I hope they're
smart enough.
Everybody's
faces before she flips the coin.
Yeah. Hey, so what do we think about All-Star Weekend for the NBA? I guess it's still going on. LeBron came out and he was like, "Yeah, nah, basically screw that shit." I like I was talking shit in the start, just for the sake of the video or whatever. But I do like me some NBA All-Star Weekend. I like the celebrity game. I like the dunk. Well, now the dunk contest is whack as shit. I like the actual game, though. I like people like not playing defense for 3 quarters, see what wild shit you can do, and then strap up at the end and see who's better. I do like that, but what's our feeling on? I'm not watching the All-Star game if like LeBron's not going to play or like Kawhi or whoever the top players are. Like maybe Paul George if you consider him a top player.
Here's how I'm going to break it down, okay? I do also really enjoy All-Star Weekend. Like, I think all of it's great, but there's tiers to this shit, right? There's some stuff where it's like, I'm going to be in front of the TV watching this shit, and there's other stuff where it's like, I'm going to have it on in the background. I'm going to look up from my computer and watch some of that stuff. So, yeah, if, like, LeBron, specifically LeBron, but even some of the more, like, key players, if they vote, I'm not playing in this stuff, that's going to turn into more background watching for me. But, like, dude, I even like the dunk contest, even if it's, like, random people. It's literally, like, people that have no shot of, like, even being, like, the 6th man on the team, but they can jump high, so they're like, yeah, you can be in the dunk contest. You know what I mean? Like, but, I mean, the skills competition is tough. The three-point competition is usually pretty good. And, like, I do think it's a cool thing for the fans to see because, I mean, honestly, we get it once a year. It's literally, like, 2 super teams, like, legitimate super teams, obviously all All-Stars on them bitches, playing against each other, and like you said, just doing crazy shit for 3 quarters. Like, that's tough. But to take the side of the players, like, they already run in a shortened season. They're already, you know what I mean, like, getting a very minimal break after playing, like, a lot of, not consecutive games, but you know what I mean, a lot closer proximity to each other. And they're going to say, hey, of these 5 days, basically, like, 3 of them are booked now. It's basically like the season never stops for them. So I can understand, especially a guy like LeBron with the Lakers, the Heat, like all these teams that made it deep into the playoffs who had like these very minimal breaks. Like, bro, give them 5 days. Yeah. Give them the 5.
Also, you gotta remember that they were in a bubble, so it's like they've been through like literally hell just to play basketball. Yeah, it's like imagine being by yourself with for months, just you can't see anybody, no friends, no family. You're just playing basketball. And it's freedom.
Unless you're James Harden and you like, I want to go to the show.
Let's go ahead.
Unless you're that man.
Hey, was that Lou Williams that snuck out of the bubble? Was it Lou? I mean, was it? Yeah.
It was.
Hey, speaking of the bubble, though, me and Jonathan have talked about this off air. Like, yeah, if I'm LeBron, I'm 35. I got 3 kids, a wife, like all that stuff. I don't want to go spend a couple of months in a bubble. If I'm 21 though, and like no girl, not married, no kids, living in my house anyway, like going and playing in the bubble, be surrounded like by a bunch of people that just love basketball in Disney World. Basically, Nick, that's where we played. Like they played the same spot where we played the softball World Series at. It was pretty cool, but. Like all those dudes, 21, being in a bubble like that shit would be the dream. I'm just hanging out with my friends in the NBA, my teammates, all day long. I'm going to play basketball, and I'm doing this for months at a time. If I was 21, I would love the bubble.
Hooping, and I'm just going to call him out right now. That's why Jamal Murray was balling crazy compared to what he does for the regular season. Not that he's a bad basketball player, but, he's going crazy. And to further your point, if I'm one of them young guns, all I'm going to be doing when I'm at home is playing video games anyway. I'm sure they let him bring an Xbox to the freaking resort. So, I mean, life ain't changing too much other than you can't run out and get, like, Chick-fil-A or some shit, But, yeah, I mean.
They were paying for their own meals, though, I think. Weren't they? Did anybody else hear that?
They rich. They should pay for their own meals. They getting the same continental breakfast that we get if they go down to the hotel lobby. They getting like old plain bagels with like those jelly packets and shit like that. So of course they're gonna buy their own breakfast, bro.
I'm powdered eggs.
Damn well every NBA player tries to fuck with that waffle machine. They're like, how the hell am I supposed to work this thing?
that's got one of those things, it's like the line for the regular shit is non-existent. Everybody's just waiting for the waffles. Like a travel team and you go to them bitches. Yeah, that's how it was for sure.
Hey, I was always too intimidated. I was a shy little kid. I was like, that contraption, I'm gonna leave it alone. Let me just get the
Wait
bagel.
for the beep and then just flip that bitch. Open it up and then you take the weird extra long prong plastic fork. It's always like a white plastic fork to flip the waffle out.
Hey, with COVID though, those things are sanitary. There's always waffle dripping out of the side every single fucking time. There's all kinds of shit just dripping out the side.
And a weird little kid at the hotel, like wiping it with their finger and licking it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
Here's the one thing I'll say: if they send them to play, I think it's almost like the Olympic team. You get invited, you don't have to accept. So you know what I mean? Invite people to the All-Star game, and I would be upset about it. Hopefully, people still get the recognition of being an All-Star. But in that same matter, imagine you're a young player. Like the one person that I keep hearing brought up, and I agree, is like Jaylen Brown. This man might be a first-time All-Star, and not only that, but a starting All-Star. And they say, but there ain't gonna be no game. Like, how would you feel? You know what I mean? Like, we play sports. Imagine you get named to your All-Star team, and they go, but we just gonna you have the jersey, but that's it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get that experience. I think for me, if I'm one of those younger players, like a Jaylen Brown, I'm trying to go ball. I'm trying to go hoop. I want to put on the jersey, and I want to go crazy.
All right, I get that from the player's perspective, but as a fan, do you want to go see a team full of second-tier All-Stars like Paul George? Is that what
I'm
we want?
not going to the game anyway. It don't matter.
Do we want to watch Paul George in the second-tier All-Stars?
I'm going to turn it on in the background.
I think I would still go. Because, I mean, I feel like part of it, too, it's the players, but I think it's also just, like, the environment that they end up creating. It just feels so different than a normal game, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was part of the fun, watching the great basketball, but then just seeing, like, all the fans. I feel like that was what made it really cool. Because you're like, oh, my gosh, like, these celebrities are here to watch this game. Like, I never see them, on a normal, like, Tuesday night watching, the Knicks play. Like, what's changing here,
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Also, shout out PG-13. I just know he likes starting beef with people, so I wanted to call him second tier.
Yeah, actually, maybe we can get him to talk shit on our podcast. That'd be big.
Hey, that would be nice.
Yeah.
You're actually not that bad, but you like starting beef, so here we go.
Dude, quit pulling back your threats, okay?
All right, you're right. Paul George, second tier.
Yeah,
second tier.
Now. You gotta stay by it.
We podcast now.
I've been playing street ball for years. I ain't never shot it off the side of the backboard. What's up?
That's true.
Also, he's been too busy missing completely. Back will be a lot closer.
Oh no. Before we get roasted by an actual dunker and player, did you guys hear about the dogs for games?
The COVID sniffing
the COVID sniffing dogs. Yeah.
Dude, I just want to know how it goes down with the first person that has COVID. Like, what exactly do these dogs just sniff and they're just like, yo, or they're just like jumping on them? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I've never been around these professional dogs before, but I'm pretty sure if it's like a drug sniffing dog, when they sniff the drugs, they go crazy. That's going to be pretty embarrassing if that's how they act when you have COVID. You in line trying to enjoy the game, and the dog just comes up and goes wild, like lifts its leg and pisses on you. Like, that's the one. That's the one. That's how we're marketing. Wet pant leg.
This guy.
Yeah. That'd be super interesting.
Hey, also, I mean, I don't have any experience with, with these professional dogs either. But, anyway, I don't think they go crazy though. I think they just sit down. Not from experience. I don't know. I think they just sit down if they smell something.
They're actually super polite about it.
Yeah. I think it's all
give me the ball.
COVID.
Yeah, I'm no cop, but I watch them throw a ball and tuck it under their arm, and the dog sits, and there's something in that car. From stories, I've heard stories before. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's hilarious.
Good to know that they're super polite.
Yeah. I do think that's pretty epic. Let's train 500,000 of those things and get America back up and running. I think we're good to go then, right?
There's an idea. There's an idea. They just migrate from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Just back and forth.
The great dog herd of 2021.
With Joe Biden on the back of the sled.
It's a bunch of dogs on top of each other making one giant dog, and he's just in the ring. It's going across the plains of the Midwest.
Oh man. Hey, NBA All-Star Weekend. What are we looking like on time? Is everything still, we still flowing? We don't want to take everybody and waste too much of their time. We want to make sure, that we
basically what our host here is getting at is, do we want to talk about soccer?
Dude, hey, you know what? I'm gonna, as the hosting duties, I feel like I'm obligated to just toss this to my right.
Oh,
and Derner, take it over, bud. We'll edit you out later.
Sounds good. No.
This is when we all take our
I
naps.
fucking
now.
hate you
No,
guys. All right, guys, I'm out. Peace.
real because the people want to know.
Yeah, the people want to know. Do we care about people from U.S. going across the pond to play some footy?
Footy?
Yeah, I think the younger players. Honestly, we recently had quite a few players leave the country to go over and play for European teams. Most notably, there's obviously Christian Pulisic. He's at Chelsea.
Hell yeah, let's go, baby, Chelsea! I don't really mess with soccer, but that's what I used to use on FIFA. Let's go.
I did buy you a jersey for your birthday one year.
Yes, you did. I still got it.
He wears it all the time.
I did for a while. I think the neck on it is huge. That motherfucker sits like this. That's why I don't
Basically,
wear it.
Turner wore it first, and then he gave it
to you.
That joke is for us. I don't think anybody gets it, but that was funny to me.
That's good.
Time. They can just later.
It's all good. And then we have Zach Steffen, who he's actually played at University of Maryland for 2 years, and then he bounced and went to Europe, failed in Europe, and then came back to the U.S. and played for the Columbus Crew, and now he's at Man City. He's getting some good playing time, but there's a lot of young kids who are getting quality playing time at big clubs like Barcelona, Borussia Dortmund, PSG, Juventus. So, I mean, we're getting exposure, and I think it's an exciting time to be a soccer fan, honestly, in the U.S.
Bro, I think about it like, I bet people from Croatia or wherever Luka is from are probably stoked that Luka's in the NBA. People from are probably stoked that Giannis is in the NBA. So, to be honest, I don't be following soccer, football like that. But if we've got players that are good enough to play in, let's just keep it a buck, those European leagues are the better leagues. Yeah. I'm happy for them, bro. You know what I mean? The same way that everybody else would migrate here to play basketball, football, baseball. If we got to export our soccer players, so be it. As long as they come back and we're nasty for the World Cup or some shit.
Yeah, but me personally, I feel like I would be more into soccer, though, if we had, if, we're here in Maryland, right outside of D.C., Baltimore and DC, whatever. If I could go to a DC United game and see some good soccer, I feel like I'd get into it a little bit more. Me and Derner used to go to the Maryland games, and I was into it. I didn't know shit what was going on. I just know
Maryland games were crazy, dude.
When we would leave those games and Maryland scored more goals than whoever the hell else they were playing, I was pretty pumped about it because I was there, and they played good, but European teams, they're not coming over here and playing, in DC United just is garbage, I think. I don't know. It might be a hot take. Are they garbage? I don't really know.
They've had a rough spell the past 10 years, but they just got rid of their coach. And then they just hired a new coach and a new assistant. And 2 of their players just went on loan to Swansea over in England, Paul Areola. And then Jordan Morris. Sorry, not 2 of DC United players. One. Paul Areola. Jordan Morris plays for Seattle Sounders, but they both went on loan because the MLS is kind of in limbo right now due to COVID, when to start, and stuff like that. So, and plus Paul Areola just came back from ACL tear.
Paul Areola, good dude.
Hey, so when they get on loan, I never heard that before, but does that mean that the other, the European clubs pay the MLS teams?
Yeah, so basically a loan is he's with DC United still on your contract, but he's on loan for 6 months in England until May or June, and then he'll come back to DC United.
Do they pay him in English currency or United States currency?
It's a good question. I don't have no idea.
Also, does Freddie Adu still play for DC United? Is that still a
The
thing?
player I've ever known for DC. I just remember seeing pictures of Freddie Adu getting signed real young, and then it was just like the era of like the giant face watches, just seeing him like in clubs, just doing that. That's all I know about Freddie Adu.
Yeah, I think he plays in like Norway or something. He was actually here. He was coaching in Maryland for one of the up and coming clubs, and he just signed over like the holiday break, and he went over to Europe. I don't know, man. I don't follow him really much anymore.
All right, I got a question then. I am extremely ignorant, and so I'm about to piss off a lot of people. I'm sure.
Do it.
It's all good, bro. Join the club.
Okay, good. Someone's got to start, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Isn't MLS just like kind of a lesser league just because of the talent that's there? Like I know like some of these people coming to play these games, like they can be good, but they're not like you're not going to see Ronaldo on Orlando City. Like so like what's going on here? Like,
so I mean, for a long time, you're not wrong. For a long time, MLS was looked at as like the retirement league, for instance, and that all started when David Beckham came to the Galaxy.
David Beckham.
You know what I mean? And that kind of started this snowball effect with big players in general coming from wherever they retired from in like Europe to come into MLS and playing.
Rooney, right?
And Wayne Rooney played DC. He played at DC United for a year and a half, 2 years, and then went back to England. But we still see those players still playing. We have multiple players that play for like Manchester United and big clubs over in Europe coming over at a fairly young age, like 31, 32, and still playing. But MLS is growing significantly, and over the past like 10 years, and are continuing to grow. I think we have 3 expansion teams in the works. So it's an up and coming. I think we're 10 years away from being maybe an elite league, but there's multiple players like Ronaldo, Messi, who have all spoken interest. Hey, I want to come and play in the United States.
They're saying, hey, I want to come get some more bands after the European leagues won. I want to come get some
pretty much
money.
Hey, so as a person who played soccer and averages 1 goal per game in his soccer career, I do have a very solid question for you. In a typical year with no COVID, is it soccer season right now or like later? When is soccer season?
So soccer, European
America soccer, MLS, American soccer.
MLS starts typically late February, early March, and goes until October, November. Whereas what it could be changing in the next couple of years to the European template, which is basically August till May. Because the MLS
through the winter,
maybe playing through the winter. Yeah, bro, soccer not popular enough here for them fools to be having games in the middle of winter, expecting people to pull up.
Well, here's the thing: it's like the World Cup's in the summer, right? And we also it's every 4 years, sure, but like when that happens, like it's a huge interference with MLS, and look at the logistics situation and everything like that. So I wouldn't mind it. I also think Division I soccer is very, very close to actually transitioning to August to May.
Wow. So that might be our first groundbreaking take, because I don't think anybody knew that shit.
Yeah, it's kind of low key, but I mean, it's still in the works. There's still obviously some things to be worked out and ironed out, but I think it's a good move just because studies, but also like injuries and stuff. Like, well, I mean, like division. If you're playing University of Maryland, dude, you're playing close. You're playing 20 games in 3 months, and that's rigid. It's pretty brutal. Plus travel time, because they're traveling also to the West Coast, to play some teams and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a positive.
Hey, shout out MLS. Let's go. Shout out MLS. Shout out Tucker. And before we lose too many followers on this part, we're going to edit out anyway. Let's go ahead and wrap up this inaugural episode of the Former Athletes Podcast. Please tune in next week. We will drop our second episode Wednesday, 8 a.m. Be there. We'll see you then.
Peace.
Hey, everybody. Hope you liked that video. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe like I just smashed that dinger. Let's fucking go. Check us out next week.